guys, did you know that a strong communication between interior design, lighting, furnishing and architecture is absolutely key? Well, yes. That is why here in Housing and Interiors, yours sincerely, Priscilla Ibram, is here to keep you in the know on how to add a tasty appearance to your house. Welcome to Housing and Interiors. So sit back, relax, and we'll go at a short commercial break and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Your body bang, you bang, your body bang, 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 your body bang, you bang, your body bang. And I give us when you take a selfie, when you take a pose, you the ginger the boy. Every time you bend the low, I'm a girl when you take a selfie. When you take a pose, you the ginger the boy. Every time you bend it low.
Want to shoot a dope music video at 50% discount?
50% discount?
Yeah, 50% discount. Bougie Down to Television Nigeria with world-class equipment and a badass expert crew.
Oga, face your camera now. Shh. Continue.
Where was I? Everything extra.
Carolina, you bad.
Hurry up.
I know say you know this thing you did do, my girl, say you know.
Thanks for being there. This is still your favorite program, Housing and Interiors. So today, we shall be focusing on the topic, sofa. Sofa, also known as a couch, is generally a piece of furniture for sitting for 2 or 3 people. It appears in form of a bench with armrest, which is partially or entirely upholstered and often fitted with springs and for the last 40 years to come. However, these are the 5 things you should consider before buying a sofa. Try before you buy. You know, when you are on the hunt for a new mattress, you do the age-old bottom test. Well, yes, that's the same theory that applies to a sofa. The average sofa has a seat depth of at least 60 centimeters, which gives plenty of room to maneuver. But be wary of a particular board or metal construction. Also, take note of guarantee before you commit. Yeah, always opt for manufacturers who offer at least 15 years guarantee. Check the cushions. Remember that what's in the inside of a sofa is just as important as what's on the outside. So when it comes to the sofa back and sit, feather-filled cushions are high on comfort, but they will need regular plumping, while foam or fiber fillings may flatten out and lose their shape over time. Focus on fabric. Whether you go for a bold color, pattern or neutral, your choice of upholstery fabric will have a huge impact on room. So choose carefully to ensure it fits with your skin. Natural materials may fade in strong sunlight, so go for a synthetic fabric if the sofa will be near a window. It's particularly important in a busy family home, and if you have a dog or a cat, opt for a fabric that's easy to spot clean. In this case, loose covers are worth investigating as they can be removed for cleaning and some are washable too. Measure up. There is honestly nothing worse than buying furniture that doesn't fit into your home. My goodness, before you do anything, measure up. Get out the tape measure and make sure you are certain of the maximum sofa dimensions that will fit and suit your space. Also check the dimensions of any doors and stairways that the sofa will have to pass through on delivery. If access is limited, you may need to opt for a low back style, one with removable legs, or even a modular design that can be delivered in sections. So if you have a small room, consider two-seater or a snuggler. Okay, that brings us to understanding the various sofas available. And guess what? There are actually around 21 different types of sofas out there. Yes, and these can be easily categorized by their sizes, arms, and back shape. But I'll be hinting you on only 10 of them. Now, don't you move a muscle, because we'll be right back to unveil these lovely sofas. Stay tuned. Hello guys, your favorite program Housing and Interiors is right here in the market. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to be chatting with the interior designer of this place. If you look around me, you will see beautiful sofas. And hey, this person is the interior designer of this place. Join me as I chat with him. Let us meet you, sir.
Okay, my name's Charles Adeka. I'm an interior designer with Furniture Republic. And Furniture Republic is a Turkish company which is endorsed by the NIPC, which is the Nigerian government program which brings in investment to Nigeria. So such that the Turkish guys, which are very good in making furniture, came down to Nigeria here to make furniture. So that's how I got to meet them, and that's what Furniture Republic is about.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, now we're talking about sofas. Now I would like to ask, what should a person consider, a customer who comes in here, what should he or she consider when purchasing a sofa?
When purchasing a sofa, I think I would basically like to advise you need a professional to guide you, but for here and now, I would give you some basic tips which can help you understand, choose. But like I said earlier, you really need a professional because there's some details which as a novice or like first timer you might not really understand. So you might need the professional to guide you really on that part. But some of the few tips I would give you at this. Okay. First of all, you need to know your space. The size of your space is very important. Or the length, the breadth, very important. You measure them either in centimeters or in inches or whatever, and then you know the orientation of your space. That's another critical factor also too. Where you have the windows, where you have the wallpaper and all of that. You have to really put all that into consideration. Okay. And also too, another thing to consider while trying to get your sofa also too, is try to measure your doors, know the size of your doors, so that when you go to buy a sofa, you don't bring in a sofa that cannot go through your door. So it becomes a problem, you understand? Then after knowing the space, the size of your space, you also have to know the functionality of your space. What do you intend to use your space for? Are you going to use your space for a living room, or is your space an office area, or is it a hospital or thereabout, or is it a bedroom? Because sofas, you can find sofas almost everywhere. You have a sofa in the living room, you can have a sofa outdoor and all that. So these are things that you really need to consider. If you're going to do a living room, there are styles of sofa you need to use. If you're doing a bedroom, there's a style of sofa you're going to use. Also too, after considering the functionality of your space or the activity that goes on with your space, which determines the size of sofa that you're going to purchase for yourself, you really need to also consider the the activities, which means, for example, if you have kids, that should determine the type of fabric you're going to use. And then also consider the color of your environment so that you can actually choose the right colors to harmonize the design of your space. Because if you don't choose all that carefully, you might just find out like you just have a space looking like a masquerade, which really doesn't fit, because the whole aim of an interior space is to create beauty. So by that you're able to match in all that, and then you come up with a beautiful space arrangement. So aside functionality and other things, there are other things too you might need to consider. The cushion. So when you're buying a sofa, you need to test the cushion. Yeah, if it's soft, if you need it to be firm, you understand. It depends on what you want. If it's orthopedic, you understand.
Okay, yeah. And I'm also curious. Do you offer delivery services to your customers?
Yes, we do. Home and office also too, we do. And then even outside Abuja, we do.
Okay.
Yeah,
and there is a payment for that, or is I would like to know.
Well, here we have our truck, and it's actually embedded into your production cost and all that. So you actually have to pay some way or the other for delivery, because we don't produce well. You understand? So
all right. It's been so nice chatting with you.
Right.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back, guys. Hope you're enjoying the program. This is still Housing and Interiors. Now, here are types of sofas you should know about, but this guide will turn you into a sofa expert in no time. So let's start with the basic types of sofas. Ottoman. The ottoman is typically used as a coffee table, and in other countries it's known as a stool or footstool. For obvious reasons, they are often sold as coordinating furniture with armchairs or gliders. This piece traces back in the Ottoman Empire, when it is used to be a centerpiece for sitting in what we call the living room today. Over time, it has become smaller and adds more of a complementary furniture piece to a sofa. The armchair. It is a large, comfortable chair with side supports for a person's arms. The chair wasn't popular until the 16th century. Benches, chests and stools were the common sitting pieces. Oh yes, now armchairs come in all shapes and sizes, almost like a luxury sofa for a single person. The love seat. In all fairness, the love seat is pretty much the same as sofa, aside from it being smaller. In other countries, we refer to them as a two-seater or a three-seater, which kind of makes them slightly different. The sectional or modular sofa. Sectional or modular sofas are definitely another type of sofa, or arguably a combination of sofa pieces put together to create the ultimate living room seating arrangement. The larger families are, the more it makes sense to have more sofas in the same room to accommodate everyone. Sectional type of sofas allow the flexibility of expanding seating sizes or downsizing by taking away smaller sections should they not be needed. Sofa beds. It is a chair that can be converted into a bed, typically for occasional use. In the US, it is often called a sofa bed, hide-a-bed, bed couch, sleeper sofa, or pull-out sofa. While this isn't a crowd pleaser, the sofa bed serves a dual function for those who like to have guests over. Due to the growing trend of having smaller apartments, sofa beds are becoming a necessity. Yes, hopefully in the near future, they'll be a lot more comfortable. The classic round-armed sofa. Some people may call this grandma's couch, mostly because it's a classic piece that has stood beyond the test of time. Back then, the round-armed sofa would have accompanied with a floral or patterned slipcover. Today, it's almost usually a white linen or neutral fabric that gives this centerpiece more class by being stiltily beautiful. The retro square arm sofa. Some would consider this contemporary, but I think everyone can agree that this is another timeless look for these types of sofas. Once you add a skittered slip cover, it creates a different look and feel altogether for the space. The hard wedge arm sofa. This is an attractive detail that lends a bit more formality to a Hokkien sofa. A similar style is the shelter arm, which also angles out but has a more rounded padded surface in the seating side of the arm. These types of couches are great for a living room or family room. The rounded wedge arm sofa. Another common looking sofa would be a more rounded wedge arm sofa. This rounded feature gave many of these couches or sofas a designer look, mostly because it was a bit more unique than the classic round or square arm sofas. The Belgian roll arm sofa. Speaking of restoration hardware, here's a sofa type that probably represents them better. Due to its hybrid construction of the sloped round arm sofa, slip covers would be slightly more different to make for it. If you're looking for slip covers for this type of sofa, then it's best for you to have it made locally. If you have invested in a nice sofa, you probably want to get a lot of use out of it. So there are so many ways to maintain a sofa long term. Vacuum your sofa at least once a week if you have a vacuum with an upholstery attachment. This is ideal for vacuuming a sofa. Clean your sofa safely and regularly to prevent it from becoming dirty. The removal of dust may be improved by pre-brushing. With a soft brush, accumulated dirt will accelerate wear and tear. Keep the sofa firm by flipping and flopping the cushions. You should prevent your sofa from becoming damaged by protecting it from stains and keeping it out of the sun. Treat stains on leather immediately. Use a lint roller regularly. Condition leather furniture. Thanks for watching Housing and Interiors. Till I come your way next time, keep beautifying your homes and keep being beautiful. I am Priscilla Igor. Bye-bye.